Welcome back to another Mind Espresso, 3 to 5 minute mind hacks from some of the top minds of the world, people I've either interviewed or read, and today I'm going to talk failure. It just plain frightens people, right? As if failing somehow means that you personally are a failure. And it's that fear that will be proven less than we are, that we'll have the shame of failure that stops us from trying and it stops us from moving ahead. And really it traps us in a cycle of insecurity. So we need to reframe failure, right? We need to give failure its just due. So 4 concepts to reframe failure. Number 1, fear and anxiety are energy. Whenever you start something new, the body is going to have a response, right? It's going to send energy. Now you can channel that into fear and anxiety or passion and enthusiasm, which is going to be more helpful, right? Because the body is trying to ready itself to do something new. So when you try something new, you're going to get this rush of energy. How you interpret that matters a great deal. It can either be the energy that powers us through or the energy that immobilizes us. Number 2, failure is your friend, right? Failure is a necessary step on the way to success. If you're not moving forward, you're likely not failing. And if you're not failing, you're likely not moving forward, right? To get good at anything, you got to fail. Maxwell Maltz. Everything I'm good at, everything I do effortlessly, and every success I've had started out doing badly, or I started out doing badly, and then I struggled mightily just to get from bad to good, and then good to great. See, the greatest value here is not in succeeding or failing on any one thing. It's what you continuously learn. There was a great experiment done about experiments at Stanford. And what they were testing is what makes for breakthroughs. And invariably, the breakthrough came from multiple failures. You have a hypothesis, you test it, it fails, but then you learn. And what you learn then becomes the breakthrough. That happens in tech, that happens in medicine, and that happens whether you know it or not in your personal life. So you need to fail to move ahead. But the reframe here is it's not a disgrace to fail. It's a disgrace not to try. But to try, we have to put ourselves on the line. And so this brings us to number 3. Failure is not personal, right? You are not your failure, right? And your failure is probably not going to matter in a year from now. It certainly isn't going to matter that much in 3 years. What will matter is what you learned, right? And that you had the courage to move forward. So don't fear failure, fear not trying, fear wasting away, fear not doing something great with your life, fear not doing something great for others. Failure is not permanent. It's not a disgrace to fail. So many of us have our lives controlled by shame, and so we sit back and we could criticize others rather than putting ourselves on the line, right? No dignity in that. There is dignity in failure, which is point number 4, right? Not trying means you're not evolving yourself. It means you're not evolving your friends around you. And it means you're probably not evolving your community or your larger community if you participate in that. Putting yourself on the line shows dignity, it shows courage, and I would argue it shows a great deal of self-love and self-confidence. So fear and anxiety are energy. Failure is a necessary step towards success. Can't get to success without failing in multiple ways. Failure is not personal, right? There is dignity in failure, right? And I'm going to leave you with my favorite Teddy Roosevelt quote. Now, let's anytime I say men and women with me, right? The quote flows a little better this way, though. He's got 2 quotes. To sit home and read one's favorite paper and scoff at the misdeeds of other men is easy, but it is markedly ineffective. And evil counts on good men and women sitting at home criticizing others. Really interesting, right? Then the last one, it's not the critic who counts, right? It's not a man who takes time to point out how a strong man stumbled or how a doer of deeds could have done them better. It is the man who is actually in the arena. His face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs to come up short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. He knows the great enthusiasm. He knows the great devotions. He spends himself in a worthy cause. And if at the best, at the end of it, he knows the triumph of higher achievement. And if he fails, at least he fails while daring greatly. Again, that's the title of Brene Brown's book. So that his place will never be with those cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat. It's not a disgrace to fail. It's a disgrace to not get better, right? And to get better, you need to overcome shame, right? The shame of failure. And that is this week's Mind Espresso.